Welcome, friends. Today we are reviewing Giant Chorus. No, I'm just kidding. Today we are reviewing Volutes by Diptyque. Look, it is just amazing. Perfume was released in 2012, or the Eau de Parfum was released in 2012, which is the version I have here. It was made by Fabrice Pellegrin. And the notes, according to Fragrantica, are tobacco, iris, honey, spices, and styrax. I believe styrax is a sweet resin like myrrh sort of thing, like a sweet myrrh. Never smelled styrax before, but I have smelled the other four notes. So by my powers of deduction, the other note that I'm getting, I am assuming, is styrax. And you do smell all of these notes. This is one of those perfumes where it isn't greater than the sum of its parts. You smell everything that's in this perfume. You smell all of those notes. They are put there for you to smell. There isn't like an accord sort of thing going on. It is blended very well. It's not blended like poorly, you know? Like there are a lot of perfumes that are blended poorly, but this is made in such a way that you will smell each note if you like look out for it. You know, like I've had this spray on my arm for about an hour now. The perfume doesn't change. It's very linear on me. It is after 2 minutes what it is after 2 hours, after 5 hours, after 10 hours, and it does last a long time as well. The performance is pretty great, which makes me think it's completely synthetic. I would be surprised if there was any naturals in this. In fact, I smell this whole line, and the more I smell the bottles in this line, the more convinced I am that they're all completely synthetic perfumes. Even ones like Tam Dao, which is meant to be a sandalwood fragrance, it's entirely synthetic. But this is synthetic perfumery done really well. The iris in this, while not necessarily smelling natural and having all the different facets, smells lovely. It's paired with tobacco and honey as it is in Chergui. I don't think it's as good as Chergui, but I mean, you can tell that I obviously like this style of perfume. I mean, look at the damage I've done to these two, you know? They're very wearable, but they're also very different. Before I forget, I'll tell you what a volute is. A volute is a spiral structure. You know, on those pillars you'll see in ancient architecture, at the top of them, they'll have like a square on the top with like a spiral, like a seashell. A seashell's a volute. You get volutes of smoke because they'll go round and round and round, and like spirals are basically volutes. So that's an interesting bit of knowledge for you. And I sort of get that with this perfume because what I get from it, the main notes I get from it are the honey, the iris, and the tobacco, as I've said. But the other two are noticeable. The spice gives it a little bit of a tingle, you know, but it's not like a spicy perfume. You just get like a little tingle on the end of your nose, like you've smelled spice far away, or like you've smelled spice a while ago, but like a couple of particles lurk in your nose and they just make you tingle. The styrax gives it the same sort of cool standoffishness that Bois d'Argent will give you. Like admire from a distance sort of vibe. Don't get too close sort of thing. But what I find is with the 5 sort of notes that are going on, they produce movement without ever complexity, if that makes sense. So it's sort of like a perfume doesn't change. It's very linear. That's the word I'm looking for. It's very linear, top to bottom, all the same. But it will make your experience of the perfume move. You will, if I sniff this once and I think honey, I can smell honey. If I sniff this again and I think iris, I can smell iris. If I sniff this again and I think tobacco, I can pull tobacco from it. So it will be your experience that oscillates rather than the actual perfume that oscillates, that moves around. And it's very clever how it's done that. It is absolutely fantastic. If you want a signature scent to smell different but pleasant, I can't imagine many people disliking this. There will be, because there's no accounting for taste. But it's a sweet iris honey perfume, you know? It's very clever how it's built. It's not groundbreaking. I mean, because it's basic. I don't want to say it's a copy of this, because it's not a copy of this. They are different. But to me, this is more of an iris fragrance than it is a tobacco fragrance. I think this is in the same vein. It's got a big tobacco note in it, and the tobacco seems to do a lot of the heavy lifting in these perfumes. But the star of the show is like the iris. And whereas in this, the iris feels a little bit more natural and delicate. In this, it feels a little bit more stern and like synthetic, but not in a bad way. You know, this is synthetic perfumery done right. I might have to wear this tomorrow, actually. I think you could wear this 3 seasons out of 4. Without summer, it would go well on summer nights. We'll change that back. There you go. And I would certainly recommend trying it. It seems to have done a bit of a disappearing act. Like, it's played peekaboo a little bit. I was told at my local Diptyque counter that this had been discontinued, and I was like, oh no, good heavens, why? And they were like, oh, it's a London exclusive now. And then I went back about 3 weeks later, and they were like, oh no, we've just had an order, it's back. And I was like, you can't do that. You can't do that to my heart, you know? Don't do that. But they did. And so now I bought a backup online, managed to get it actually a little bit cheaper, but there we are. You see, I actually think all the perfumes in this line might be completely synthetic. The Tam Dao in this line smells pretty synthetic. Oud Palau's an entirely synthetic perfume. L'Ombre d'Onslow smells synthetic. It's the blending and the use of the synthetics which is really good. You know? And it shows what synthetic perfume can do. And this is one of them. If you like tobacco, if you like iris, if you like honey, if you like well-blended perfume, if you want something to perform all day, if you want to smell different but still palatable and tolerable and then recognizable, this would be a brilliant signature scent for you. Not fucking Sauvage, not Bleu de Chanel, something like this, something a little bit artistic, but not so artistic that it doesn't mesh with real life. You know, it's not abstract, but it is synthetic. I would highly recommend you give it a go. Please let me know what you think of it in the comments. I look forward to reading them, and I always reply. And thank you very much for watching. Bye.